Well, hello to all my beautiful people. Welcome to AAA Short Stories by Nelson Nick. I'm your host, Nelson Nick, and we're here today to do the best we can to entertain you.
In the 1980s, the Colombian cartel with Pablo Escobar as their kingpin managed to supply the world with millions of kilos of cocaine. There was so much of it that most of the currency on the planet has been laced with the drug. The following episode, Podcast 9, is based on a true story. The names of the innocent were erased, but to be real with the evidence discovered in this story, we have decided to express our writing and expressions of ourselves as close as possible to the truth. Let me be perfectly clear, this story is fiction, period. Since there was so much cocaine business, many military bases throughout the nations have been infected with this controlled substance with supply and demand. Nuclear cocaine is one of these experiences, and how terrified were many law enforcement agencies to discover what you are about to listen to. Impossible does not exist anymore. Anything can happen if you let yourself imagine that it can be possible. You will learn about a terrifying event so scary that we permitted this to be fiction. If you love dogs, you will experience what Sergeant Nelson and his canine tiger went through. Sit back, read or hear the audibles while enjoying the same. Again, this story is fiction. We cannot confirm or deny any of the events you are about to learn. This can happen anywhere. Nuclear cocaine by Nelson Nick. Warning. You are about to encounter a simple yet emotional experience in the following story. Leave your everyday real life for a little while passing through this momentous and interesting future experience. Place yourself into the story as a neutral spirit, witnessing every moment of every character's life. Make no conclusions or any prejudicial opinions until time has ended. You will know when that time has arrived. I will not confirm or deny any of these events that you'll experience. Come join me. Prepare yourself to take this simple voyage as you put yourself in my story.
Chapter 1. It's early in the day in an unknown location in the country of the Federal Republic of Germany. A secured phone line is answered. Hello, sir. Is this the security police? Okay, this is Lieutenant Dunn from the Army Command Center at the barracks. I'm the on-duty officer right now. I just received an anonymous phone call from what I think is one of our soldiers, but I'm not positively sure. The guy rumbled his words a lot, and what I gathered was the guards were using drugs over at the weapons storage area NBC. Yes, sir, that's what I said, area NBC. At first, I thought it was a joke, but he gave me information that only we know about area NBC. Yes, sir, I think this is very serious. One moment, please. Someone dressed in a green military uniform, an unsub, entered the office quietly, closed and locked the door from inside, again quietly approaching Lieutenant Dunn from behind. Lieutenant Dunn has no knowledge death was behind him. Sir, are you there? Okay, today's password is purple. Yes, sir, I informed my commander, Colonel Chase, and he told me to call you guys and to make sure I call you on this secure line. I got the call it. Lieutenant Dunn began choking. His neck was wrapped with a steel wire around it by the person behind him, pulling his body upwards. Dunn kicks the monitors of various tables and tries to get the wire off, but the unsub is too strong. The phone disconnects from the wall as Lieutenant Dunn kicks his way backwards to crush his attacker against the wall. Dunn continues to try and save himself, but he's starting to lose consciousness. Dunn tries to pull loose one more time, but unfortunately fails. His eyes begin to close slowly until he moves no more. He falls slowly to the ground while his lifeless body is dragged to the lockers into the next room. The assassin grabs him by the front shirt, pulls him upwards and smacks the left side of his face, thrusting the dead corpse with such tremendous force that Lieutenant Dunn's teeth break and fall adjacent to the lockers and to the bottom of the floor. The unsub puts him in one of the lockers, locks the door and puts a combination lock on it. After observing the room, places the desk, chair, papers, and everything else back to a normal organized office. Before leaving, takes another look to ensure everything is in order. The threat leaves the room, locking the door behind. Chapter 2. Go get him, girl, I yelled, watching my canine partner Tiger chasing the decoy at 35 miles per hour. She jumped high into the air and took a big bite into his left arm while the decoy yelling, "No. No. Get him off. Get him off." I waited about 10 seconds, but the decoy raised his right arm. This means the pressure is too intense and it's really hurting, a lot. This is to be expected since the average bite of a German Shepherd is 1,200 pounds per square inch. Out. Heel. I yelled. Tiger released, turned around and ran right back, jumping up in the air and parking her butt exactly to my left leg facing front. "Sarge," everybody laughed and said that no one could train her, "but you did. Very impressive," said the decoy. "Just because I'm new to the team and nobody knows me, what idiots. They thought they knew everything and nobody else knows anything." "Yeah, you're right, but they showed what fools they really were." The only thing she needed was a lot of love and attention. "She needed a partner," I replied. "You really showed them," said the decoy while pulling the arm protector off and bleeding down his arm. Tiger pierced the protection wrap with one of her canine teeth. Tiger, an AKC-style German Shepherd with black and brown color weighing 80 pounds, has come a long way. The decoy headed to the first aid room. Tiger and I went to get cleaned up. I remember that December, breezy and chilly morning a few years ago, when I offered to train Tiger. Everyone from the kennel master and the 6 training teams present started laughing and saying, "You are new here and no experience. How could you train her if we tried and nobody else could?" I was so out of place and just left the kennel area. Someday I'll show them, someday. A week later, the kennel master arrived at my apartment and knocked on my door. "Hello, does Sergeant Gonzalez live here?" he said. "I'll be right there, sir," I replied. I took a few seconds to compose myself. I just separated from my wife about 2 hours ago. She took what was left of hers to move back into the dorms on the base. You see, both of us arrived in Germany together and we were security police agents in the United States Air Force, assigned to a military air base in Germany. The base is not very well known. You could say the place is concealed from the world. Since we were having some serious marriage problems, we decided to break up and keep our friendship. She preferred to go and live on base while I decided to stay in a nearby town, off the base. This was around the time Ronald Reagan swore his first time in as president, a few weeks ago. Everyone was starting a new venture in life. I opened the door and let Sergeant Dork in. "Hi, how are you doing?" he said with those dorky little eyes. I didn't trust him at all. He tried to hide that smirk on his face and did a lousy job at it. "I'm okay, what are you doing here?" I said. "Well, I thought it over and decided to give you a chance to train Tiger. Just remember that if you don't succeed, we'll have to put her down," he said while cleaning his thick, black, and plastic military-issued glasses. Great, just great. That's all I need, more pressure, I thought. "Okay, Sarge, but I have one request. Without breaking any rules, laws, or regulations, I want to do this my way and my way only. If I fail, you could demote me or whatever you want." This I said and then thought, great, even more pressure. The smirk he was hiding finally came out in a smile. I knew I couldn't trust him. "Deal," he said, turning around heading out the door. It seemed like there was a bet between him and the other K9 teams, or that was what I felt, not to be paranoid. You see, the basic problem Tiger had was not releasing the bite on command and especially not finding drugs. She was supposed to be a military working drug detection patrol dog. Her real problem was not getting any love, praise from the heart and playing like a kid. It took a long month or 2 and I even slept sometimes in the kennel next her to gain her trust. I wasn't supposed to give her any medium rare cooked juicy steak either, but she looked so sad when I was having some. It's ironic, or you might think it's strange, but I broke up with my wife who was supposed to be my friend, and 2 hours later I had a new friend, Tiger. If you trade something, most of the people would trade up. I had traded from a wife to a dog, metaphorically I mean. What is the future planning for me? It's very strange what just happened a moment ago. The best relationship I have had with a woman was a 4-legged female, hairy and about 80-pound canine of a dog. More important, Tiger was now basically trained enough to pass the base commander's certification. With the certification, it gives us the search warrant after having a probable cause by the dog alerting, scratching a place. The certification basically is the dogs proving they could find either drugs, explosives, people having other skills and talents that are needed in any police work. Very important to have to comply with our United States Constitution. Even on military installations we have American rights, or at least we're supposed to. Well, enough of the memories, we must go on patrol and save the planet from so many scumbags. We got in the truck and headed the long way to the main police headquarters around the base. After a long workout, Tiger drinks lots of water in a good chilly breeze to bring her temperature down. The average temperature for a dog is around 102 degrees, I don't need her to die. She is worth $35,000 and up as government property, and more important, she's my partner. She's good police. Chapter 3. Okay girl, we're here, I told her. We got out of the truck in front of the Special Operations Agency and Law Enforcement Headquarters, then headed up the stairs into an air-conditioned building. While passing the front desk, John the desk sergeant yelled, "Got a call about a drug use inside our nuclear weapons storage facility, Area NBC." Sure, I said, I bet it's glowing too. Laughing off the joke. Sergeant Nelson, I'm dead serious. We received a call from an Army officer at Barracks 714 relating he just heard this information over the phone by an anonymous caller. This call I verified by the Durus Daily code word, so it's true. He also stated that a secret store by the guards was located inside the military police shack at Area NBC. Cocaine, hash, marijuana, and everything else, just like them all. He confirmed their security was our nuclear weapons security system. Holy crap. Then I heard him cough several times and the call was disconnected. I tried calling him back, but service sounds are busy. Sergeant Nelson, what do you want us to do? I was looking right at his face with that look of fear he had. We have known and worked with each other for a long time. If he called me Sergeant, that got my attention. He had very thick eyeglasses, just like the bottom of a bottle. These were a lot thicker than Sergeant Dork's. If you didn't know him, you could confuse him as a scientist or a highly intelligent professor. He was no scientist. He was the desk sergeant and a long-trusted friend of mine, who just informed me of drug use in a facility where nuclear weapons were stored. A drop of sweat rolled off his face, but this building is air-conditioned. I took a few seconds and thought drugs, weapons storage facility, military guards with M16s, high security area where deadly force is authorized, who, what, when, where, why and how in the hell, nuclear weapons? These short seconds lasted like a lifetime, very very long. I was the person in charge of the drug-related incidents, on duty, and this was left right in front of me. The tension in this place has never been like this, ever. John, get the on-duty commander, the chief, and tell Susan to see me a few miles north of Area NBC by a small shack tucked in the woods. Susan was my ex-wife. We've been divorced several years now. We might have had personal problems in the past, but our job has never been affected. We were professionals, worked together for some time, and everyone appreciated it, us too. I proceeded to call the base commander, who we all work for on this base, on the secure line. Good afternoon, sir. My first words before letting out what I was about to say. Nelson, how the hell is my best K9 team? How's my favorite pooch, Tiger? He answered as always. This man always made you feel you're the best at anything you do, a great commander. Sir, I'm fine. Tiger is fine also. Please forgive me for not being as polite as always, sir, but we might have a serious and sensitive situation. Okay, go on, he said. The tension and silence were persisted, especially since I have never called him on the secure line before. I have called Colonel D, the base commander, many times for search warrants, visited his family and shared professional and personal moments together, and I have never been this straightforward, quiet and so serious before, not to mention worried. He even stressed the moment and the tension. Sir, we received information that a drug use or distribution has occurred and has been going on for some time. We are not sure this is true, however, we cannot ignore this matter. The reason is we are speaking of Area NBC, sir, as I explained cautiously. Sergeant Nelson, are you saying Area NBC? Yes, sir. I replied. The base commander with a firm voice said, Nelson, you're the best we got. Start planning whatever action you know, not just think. Any action you know that is the best and only the best to take care of this matter. Don't act on it until I see you at headquarters. Gather your troops, code red. This will be a classified operation, need to know only.